First thing first, I will introduce myself. My name is Nurizati Petikaman and I'm from Group NBH Nimabi. Now, for this time video, I will talk about one of the most manufactured food in Malaysia, which is Munchy'S. Munchy'S is no longer a strange name to us, and maybe some of you can recall when you heard it. I also will talk about the background of the company and the staffing challenge for Munchy'S company. Before that, let's take a look at this video first.
The right ingredient for the best taste. Perfect shape, perfect size.
With right temperature and timing control. Freshly baked, conveniently packed.
Biscuits ready, distributing to the whole world.
Now, after seeing that video, I guess that you all already know even a little about this amazing company. Do you know that Munchy'S is currently the #1 homegrown biscuit brand in Malaysia? Okay, now let me tell you how the delicious adventure began. It all started from 1991. The story began when these two brothers set out to establish a business in Batu Pahat that will become well known and attract the attention from communities all over the world. The Tan brothers, S.K. Tan and L.K. Tan, created Munchy'S food industry with the support of their siblings C.K. Tan and Ned Tan. The brothers grew the company to its current position with an initial investment of 80,000 and their first successful launch using a second-hand wafer stick machine. With the establishment of Munchy'S in 1993, they were able to share their beautiful creation with the rest of the group. With the advent of new items like music, Munchy'S and Lexus 3 years later, a new wave of fun has been launched. The famous Munchy'S factory in Batu Pahat makes and cooks these delicious pureness. Munchy'S delectable concoctions quickly spread over the world, and it didn't stop in Malaysia. Munch Marketing was established in 1997 as Munchy'S arm and sold worldwide distributor to meet global demand for our characteristic crunch. At last, they successfully made it as Malaysia's #1 homegrown biscuit brand. Munchy'S is expanding its product all over the world and going global as it is present in nearly 60 countries. Munchy'S main markets are located in Asia such as Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore, Taiwan and Japan being its key market. Their vision is to be significant in 100 countries by 2020. Now, as you can see in this slide, here is how the Munchy'S logo developed from time to time from the year 1992 to present. Do you know that Munchy'S produce many brands and all of their brands are best-selling biscuit brand all over the world now? In addition, Munchy'S also sells wafer cube, cracker, a variety of biscuit, wafer roll, quarter wafer stick, unquarter wafer stick, sandwich biscuit, cookies, and simple sweet biscuit, among other things. Calcium crackers, sugar cracker, cream cracker, fish cracker, light cream cracker, Mary biscuit, gigabyte wafer rolls, Munchy'S, Yours and Speed wafer stick, Lexus sandwich cracker, Milk and News wafer cube, and mini sandwich biscuit are among Munchy'S most popular items. Munchy'S has also received a number of accolades. Munchy'S received a certificate to the Planet Mark on March 2, 2021, which is one of their harness. The Planet Mark is a globally recognized sustainability accreditation that recognizes corporate achievement, encourages action, and builds a strong network of like-minded people. Taking everything into account, the company has achieved extraordinary success in creating biscuit in practically every ASEAN country over the course of the operation. Now, let us move to staffing challenge on Munchy'S company. The challenge arises when the method of identifying and recruiting the right candidate to accept a job opportunity is viewed as recruiting. This is because when an organization ends up mistakenly or intentionally recruiting the wrong candidates for its position, it becomes a huge risk or expense that can negatively impact the company business practices. As a result, the recruiting process has become a human resource technique that will decide the fortunes of an organization. So, the development of high-quality skill and skilled workforce is a vital source of sustainable competitive advantage. In addition to the challenge of Munchy'S staff, there is resistance to change. Resistance to change always leads to failure of change management. People are always afraid of change and employees are reluctant to change because they fear that current process and practices will be removed and replaced with the new things with which they are unfamiliar. The risk in managing change for Munchy'S can cause serious problems for the organization. A lot of the old employees left the company because they couldn't keep up with the new recruitment, says Ketan. Munchy'S also takes the risk at the manufacturing plant. The main supervisor and operational operator are reluctant to follow the new process and new technology import from Europe. They always stay in their comfort zone and follow the same manufacturing process even if growth sense 7 day is a new product that must have a new way of doing it. Their reluctance to change will not only lead to huge risks in the production line but also inefficiency in the quantity of production. In the meantime, this will also have an impact on the quality of production as the new processes will not fully comply. In order to minimize the risk of change, management must ensure that the commitment materializes and must lead by example by convincing the employee to accept the change and to follow through by making a change. It is very important that the message of change constantly and frequently reach the employees. The change vision should also be briefed to all employees that everyone clearly understands the expectation.
Munchy'S use strategic staffing model that consists of short-term staffing, long-term staffing, and employee succession planning. This plan to confirm that company business plan will grow and goal can be achieved from a talent perspective. A short-term staffing plan focuses on the immediate needs of the company. In Munchy'S, they only focus on long-term staffing, but they get new skill and new talent from internship students to support their new project or new product in terms of marketing and sales. Munchy'S also hire part-time worker for event or for sales and marketing worker to promoting their new product. Long-term staffing involves taking a proactive approach to a company needs. For long-term staffing, they are planned to cover at least for 1 year employment. Munchy'S invest more on staffing because they believe that if they don't have the right people for the right job, it is going to be very challenging for them to execute their strategy. And they also believe that one approach that they take is creating a fun and have highly engaged workplace. Employee succession planning. Succession planning allows company to fully understand the roles and authority of their management staff so they can upskill of internal candidates and they will be ready to step into a career advancement immediately when they encounter management turnover. Many business owners fall on comfortable situation when they are reliable manager to depend on and this is the false sense of security that can leave their business with notable downtime to lose a key member of their management team. To prevent this, Munchy'S also provides staff training and development program to their employees to improve their skills and knowledge and maximum their personal and professional growth. Human resource planning. Munchy'S have their own human resource planning that can help them to achieve their goal and targets. They are always on the lookout for those full of passion, enthusiasm, and a strong sense of teamwork. Human resource planning consists of several processes, which is determining the objective of human resource planning. Munchy'S already set their goals every year and create new plans to achieve their targets. and they believe that if employees are at a certain level in terms of skill, that is as high as their business can go. Second process, analyzing current manpower inventory. From the target that they set or plan, they are already analyze their staff inventory and start evaluate to find talent from internal or external candidate based on experience, proficiency, and skill to perform that particular job, such as marketing and sales department, and also employee for production department. Next is forecasting demand and supply of human resource. Once they have evaluated their staff inventory and talent of manpower is maintained, they will match with demand for a manpower issue in the future with the supply or availability of their resources. Next, analyzing the manpower gap. After forecasting the demand and supply, the manpower gap can easily evaluated whether for new project or new target, if they should hire new candidate or remain with the existing employees. Next is employer plan and action plan. Action plan will be implemented accordingly. In the case of lack of manpower, they will go for recruitment planning and interdepartment transfer. While they have surplus, they will provide voluntary retirement scheme, transfer, layoff could be for training and development. The training is not only for new joiner, but it also for existing employee to update their skills and knowledge from time to time. Munchy's also provide internal training for their staff. Lastly, appraisal of manpower planning. The effectiveness of the manpower planning is to evaluate by compare the actual implementation and to find out whether manpower planning is achieved the objective as per organization expectation. And it happened to Munchy's company that they will improve the employee skill because they believe that good manpower will help company growth and success.
The job analysis. Job analysis for Munchy'S is the process of studying a job to determine which activities and responsibility it include. It's relative important to other job, the qualification necessary for performance of the job and the condition under which the work performed. Job analysis method such as questionnaires, interviews, observations, and others. Munchy'S use this job analysis output to develop a job description and job specification which relate to the company. Second, for recruitment. Recruitment is the process of finding and attract a pool of the capable candidate to join the organization. Recruitment process of Munchy'S will go through the internet, newspapers, and others. They will post the job vacancy with the job description and recruitment need for the job. It also include the internal and external source for the recruitment. Meanwhile, for selection, selection is the process of ascertaining the qualified experience, ability, and skill to apply for the job. Munchy'S organizations decide to make the job offer to the candidates and acceptance of the candidates. The strength of the selections is the management may have the information to know the qualification of the candidate by giving the tests such as psychometric tests to know the strength and the weakness of the candidate. The method of selection used by Munchy'S such as the interview, test, and others. Internal candidate. For Munchy'S, they can save the cost of training as their company already give the orientation and training towards the employees. Internal recruitment is cheaper and quick to recruit because there is no induction needed. It also can motivate the employee through the promotion to the high position. They also can increase loyalty to the Munchy'S as they have the chance to changing the position. For example, the internal methods such as the promotions and also transfer. For the external, while external candidate, Munchy'S may need more cost to make the advertisement and the interview for the applicants. It may increase the cost and expenses. External will give the new ideas and the new knowledge of the technology. External recruitment can avoid the inbreeding a larger pool of workers for which to find the best candidate. Also, it's great opportunity to find a more experienced, high qualified, and more professional. For example, external methods such as a company website, employee referrals, newspapers, social media, and so on.
For the decision making point, we'll start first with the definition of decision making. Quoted from George R. Terry, decision making can be understood and is defined as the selection based on some criteria from two or more possible alternatives. And really, with the Munchy'S company, it is a process or a step in recruitment and selection in choosing the best option, alternative, and the best potential candidate for the organization and for the Munchy'S company. So let's moving on to the next part in the decision making, which is factors that influencing the decision making. There are a few numbers of factors that influencing the decision making, which is legal consideration, speed of decision making, organizational hierarchy, applicant pool, types of organization, probationary period, and also selection criteria. Legal consideration. HRM in every company are bounded and comply with decisions, orders, rules that are set by legislation. For F&B business, Munchy'S are bounded with the rules and legislation that are related with the F&B standard and procedures. In preparing, sorting, and choosing the right employee for Munchy'S company, the organization will hire their potential candidate according to what qualification that they are having as per required and as per needed in the job qualification. As an example, Munchy'S seeking for an employee that will involve with the legislation process of the preparation of the product. The employee need to comply with the rules and legislation that to suit the mentioned vacant. As per example, potential candidate that validated with the food preparation certificates. Moving on to the second point, which is speed of decision making. In general cases, the selection process is followed by the specified policies, and it is the procedures to protect the organization from legal issues. As an example, every company are compliant with their own rules and regulations, which goes to the Munchy'S company as well. Thus, the decision making made by the recruiters of Munchy'S are bounded and influenced by the available time of Munchy'S recruiters to make the decision of selection for their potential candidates. Moving on to the next point, which is organizational hierarchy. The recruitment and selection process varies according to the filling posts of various levels of hierarchy in the organizational structure. Thus, for Munchy'S as well, in decision making to recruit their potential candidate, it is varying according to the level of vacant that Munchy'S are offering. For the applicant pool point, the recruitment and selection process are also influenced by the number of applicants for a particular job. In the case of many qualified applicants for a particular post, the selection process becomes more selective. For this purpose, the selection ratio is ascertained by comparing the number of selected applicants to the number of applicants in a pool. Thus, for Munchy'S to choose the best candidates for their company, the selection becomes more selective and more rigid. Going on to the next point, which is types of organization. The types of organization like government organization, private or non-profit organization, etc. also affects the selection process for the hiring individuals. For Munchy'S, which the F&B business organization, the decision making in seeking their potential candidates as the employee may vary and comply to what is suitable with F&B based organization. In decision making, there are also process and steps that a recruitment team need to comply. There are 5 of them, which is first decision, second decision, third decision, fourth decision, and lastly is the 5th decision. Going on to the first decision, which is know exactly what you want before you start to seek for candidates or advertise a vacancy for potential candidates. Okay, for this one, Munchy'S will know what they are seeking and what they expect from their potential candidates. Thus, Munchy'S will sort out what criteria that they want in fulfilling their organization. For Munchy'S, they exclusively mention through the platform of their website and LinkedIn that they are seeking a fun, easygoing, and happy individuals to fulfill their job vacant. Because Munchy'S company do believe in good working culture is from an easygoing and happy workers. For the second decision, which is to decide which platform to advertise the vacancy. A company or an organization really need to step up their recruiting and selection games to gain or to be occupied with an incredibly good and diligent potential candidates for their company. For Munchy'S, from the internet research made by me recently, they advertise the job vacancy through their own website, which is www.munchy's.com, and LinkedIn. To be added, they are quite active through virtual online platform in seeking their potential candidates. For the third decision, which is select the right hiring team for the job. Involved with internals which the management of Munchy'S need to select to hire an excellent recruitment team for recruiting their potential candidates. The ones that are less biased and really committed with the recruitment process. For the fourth process, which is apply critical thinking while managing the recruitment process. Munchy'S recruitment team need to sort out the best ways and ideas in delivering the recruitment process to Munchy'S potential candidates. Apply critical thinking to get an excellent ideas from them. Moving on to the last decision, which is the fifth decision, the best potential candidates are hired. Moving to the better improvements for the recruitment team side to make the recruitment and selection process to be smooth and less hassle. Going to the next one, which is how to make a good decision making. To ensure that all factors that are affecting in the decision making is achievable and managed to be complied by both recruiters and potential candidates. For Munchy'S as an example, firstly, recruiters are not emotionally unstable and not being biased. The second one, recruitment team not to take things too personal with their potential candidates. The third one, to prepare early and to expect possibilities that may happen and ways on how to avoid something that are not as per plan during the recruitment and selection process. Okay, for the fourth one, recruiters need to seek advice from someone that is professional in the lane, such as if Munchy'S want to hire the food inspector, they need to seek information from the managers of the mentioned department to brief regarding the roles and the position. Final match. From the definition of final match, it can be understood as the stage during and after the company or an organization selected the most suitable candidates that suit the KSO the most for the vacant position. The importance of final match to the company, especially for Munchy'S company. First one is it is cost effective and time saving. Second one, to avoid the occurrence of biasness. Third one, to filter out the incompetent candidates. Fourth one is to provide a guideline to evaluate the candidates further through strict verification and reference checking for future employee. Fourth one is helps in analyzing and unleash the potential skills that the potential candidates are having. In final match, there are two process contained in it, which is the first one is final interview and the second one is job offers. Okay, we're going to the first one first, the final interview. Okay, Munchy'S will conduct a final interview before they make any decisions. This is often an opportunity for them to explore your skills and experience further. Perhaps looking into strengths and development areas they are identified during your earlier interview or at the assessment center. As part of this final interview, you may be asked to deliver a presentation. You will receive the presentation brief a week or more in advance of the interview to give you time to prepare. The brief will generally focus on a specific question or problem or ask you to make recommendations on a particular course of action. The presentation will last between 10 or 30 minutes and will be followed by a question and answer session with the interviewers. You may also require to meet different members of the team of this stage so that they can get an idea how well you fit in the existing team.
Staffing flow. For suggestions to improve recruitment and selection practice in staffing flow, Munchy'S should create a correct job description for each required position. This is where the job description is the first step toward the success of the recruitment and selection process for existing vacancies. Munchy'S need to provide correct information about the job requirement and skills that are important for job position. Besides that, Munchy'S need to focus on innovative recruitment and selection processes. This means Munchy'S need to involve candidate selection in activities to take part in tasks or give a small project to candidates applying to test them before considering hiring them as a part of Munchy'S company. In addition, Munchy'S need to be mindful of the time for recruitment. While it is very important for Munchy'S to hire the right people at the right time. The requirement process should be structured in such as a way the time to recruit is not in a very long or tedious process. Last suggestion is quite important for Munchy'S is to train interviewers properly. Where to conduct an interview properly is not easy as a cup of tea to everyone. Therefore, this becomes a very important part for Munchy'S to train interviewers in the company properly. Staffing method or strategies. Suggestion for improved recruitment and selection practice for staffing method or strategies is that Munchy'S should hire temporary employers when needed. While there are a number of strategies to implement when the number of staff is not in the right place, there are certainly times when temporary recruitment is needed. This means this is supposed to be the most important of all staffing strategies used by the organization. Recruiting agency is one of the recommendations for improving. Even for an international recruitment, it may seem strange to contact a recruitment agency because that is their job. However, sometimes connecting with an agency can be the best way to fill a difficult position, where Munchy'S can outsource the company's hiring process to a hiring agency. Next, Munchy'S also need to improve the interview process. It is very important to have a good interview process. If the interview is too long, the company will risk having the candidate drop out. If it's too short, Munchy'S will also risk hiring the candidate too early. Munchy'S also need to keep the application process simple. A complicated process can discourage people. Besides that, for professional organization, internship and apprenticeship, candidates need to fill highly skilled positions. Professional organization can be excellent source of candidate, where Munchy'S should offer the internship and apprenticeship is the best way to recognize an individual's strength and can be considered a job interview. Lastly, Munchy'S need to use niche job board. A niche job board is a work board that specializes in a particular field. So it's so important to know which one the candidate is looking for. Candidate should always do research as expert in the field. If the Munchy'S know or can recommend any, contact recruitment manager within the company.
For the management and administration part, what Munchy'S company can apply in improving their recruitment and selection practices is, firstly, what Munchy'S company can offer to their potential candidates. To learn to be more negotiable in terms of what Munchy'S company can offer to their potential candidates and what their potential candidates can have by working with the company. The second one, to let the involved manager to be heard on what their expectations and what they want for the future employees to be possessed. The third one, collect and analyze feedback from potential candidates for future. Fourth one, management to utterly understand how important the onboarding process truly is and not to take this matter lightly. The fifth one, the administration to prepare well for the recruitment and selection session to show a good image and example to the potential candidates. The next one, manager of the mentioned department to briefly prepare the job scope and job description for better understanding for the future potential candidates. And the last one is HR manager to distribute the work process and process of work to staff and to train their team effectively in managing the recruitment and selection. For any related elements and components, Munchy'S company can apply to provide suitable venue and platform for the recruitment and selection process, easy for both sides to access, subject to the availability of both. And also during this pandemic, Munchy'S company need to be more aware regarding the standards of procedures set by the government. The recruitment and selection process need to comply with the SOP set by the government.
For the conclusions, from analysis of human resource management for the Munchy'S company, the aims and the function of human resource management are clear. Human resource management aims to retain a high-performance workforce and manage employees in organizations. Function of human resource management consists of staffing, rewards, employee development, and employee relations. Next, the strength of Munchy'S company to recruitment and selection is provide the training and development to attract the employees. But the weakness of recruitment and selection of Munchy'S company is the manager may have the negative stereotype to the candidate. It may cause the candidate cannot get the job. The human resource management of Munchy'S company applies all HRM practice in their company. Processes of HRM practice consist HR planning, attracting employees, developing employees, and retaining employees. Munchy'S also giving their staff promotion to the higher position.